People remember the first 2 months of the season when Ginobili was rolling. He was an MVP candidate. Then right around the Christmas time, January, he started slowing up a little bit. If he's not on the floor late in ball games, and all of us have gotten the memo, he's going left, he still gets left. And now, if Tony Allen's in the game, hawking him all game long, this could be an interesting matchup.
Now, Greg, it's his non-shooting arm that suffered that injury. Does that change things?
No, it's still a significant injury. And the other aspect of it is it now could create a scenario where the greatest strength of the San Antonio Spurs all season becomes a weakness. Because now, if he doesn't play, you take one of your core guys off the bench, you got to instill him in the starting lineup. Now you don't have that recovery mechanism you've had all season. Because if you look at San Antonio, the bench is what's made them special this year. Anytime you can have your best player have a career-low year and improve by 11 wins and everything else kind of be status quo, that bench has been the difference maker for the Spurs.
Speaking of that guy with the career lows, we're talking about Tim Duncan, and obviously the minutes have been brought down by Popovich to keep him healthy for the long haul. And we take a look at the numbers here. I mean, head-to-head, Tim Duncan, Zach Randolph. You look at the resume, the Hall of Fame resume, you think Duncan. You look at this year, you think Zach.
Well, that's the question. Timmy, a lot of injuries this year. 22 years old, championship. 26 years old, championship. 28 years old, championship. 30 years old, championship. Now, this year, injuries, minutes down. Can Tim Duncan, at 35 years old, he'll be 35 here at the end of April, can he hit that switch? Can he bring out those Hall of Fame numbers?
That was scary right there.
When that injury happened there in March, we all said, wait a minute, the Spurs are done. Now, of course, the medical staff got him back, has him back on the court. He will get double teamed. But I say it again, at 35 years old, can you hit that switch like the other 4 years when you won the championship?
And will he get double teamed? That's going to be we don't know if he's going to be double teamed. We don't know what Lionel Hollins' strategy is going to be to attack San Antonio.
Well, listen, Tim Duncan's going to have to play a heck of a lot better in this series than he did in the regular season against Memphis if they're going to double team him. Duncan just 11 points and 9 rebounds on 42% from the field head-to-head with Memphis. Zach Randolph, on the other hand, gave it to the Spurs, 23 and 15 in the head-to-head matchups. And let's listen to Zebo right now talking to us here at NBA TV about how the Memphis Grizzlies got through the Rudy Gay injury.
Losing Rudy was big. We ain't got nobody on the team that's a Rudy Gay or can replace Rudy. So guys that stepped it up, contributed and stepped it up big time, like Tony Allen, Sam Young, O.J. Mayo, Darrell, and, patched up for missing Rudy. So, guys just been stepping it up. And, anytime you get a guy go out like that, guys step it up like that, that's big. We can score with anybody. And having Tony Allen, you got to give Tony Allen a lot of credit. He's been great, especially from the defensive end, being the catalyst and getting us ready, having energy and talking to us out there. And everybody just in tune on defense. And that's why we've been winning these games and in the situation that we are in now, because we know we can score with a lot of people and a lot of other teams, but when you get defensive stops, it makes it better.
Now, that's great analysis by Zach Randolph, and we're not even paying him for it. We're paying Greg Anthony for the analysis. We'll get that from him in a second. I just got to give you this stat. Memphis was 5 games over 500 with Gay. 5 games over 500 since he went down. 15 and 10 since that injury, which leads us to your X factor, Greg.
Well, I'm going to look at it again. I go with San Antonio in this situation because the one thing that, even though it's been their most consistent commodity all season, it's also their most unproven, and that's their bench. And it's going to be interesting to see how these guys respond, particularly in light of the fact that we don't know the health of Manu Ginobili. Does George Hill and Gary Neal, do they play with the efficiency, the confidence, the freedom that they showed over the regular season? Does Matt Bonner have an impact on the game as well? And then I throw in Richard Jefferson somewhat in terms of also him having to have more impact on the series. Because to me, in order for the Spurs to really have that chance to win it all, those areas have to remain consistent, and they're going to have to be consistent to beat Memphis because Memphis does match up well with the San Antonio Spurs.
Dennis, a moment ago, you were talking about the ages at which Duncan has won his 4 championships. The Spurs are looking for their 5th title in this run. And StatsCube, courtesy of NBA.com, takes a look here at the most wins in franchise history for the Spurs and then how they did that season. 05-06, they won 63. They actually lost in the West semis that year. 94-95, they won 62. They lost in the Western Finals. This year, 61 wins. We'll see. In 2002-2003, they won 60 games, and they won it all that year. And let's take a look here at the series schedule. Spurs and Grizzlies. Game 1, Sunday, 1 p.m. on TNT. Game 2, Wednesday, 8:30 on NBA TV. The series shifts to Memphis for 3 and 4, April 23rd and 25th, respectively, on ESPN. And Game 4, the network is yet to be determined. But what these gentlemen will determine right now is the fate of the Spurs and the Grizzlies in this first-round series.
I think it's going to be a fun series, and we didn't talk about the guy a lot, Tony Parker. I think he really puts his imprint in the lane, kind of takes advantage of Michael Conley, had the Spurs in 5.
Spurs in 5, okay.
Spurs in 5.
This series, a lot like last year's 1-8. I think that Memphis has the ability to get 2 wins in this series. I think they push San Antonio to 6. And again, I think in a lot of ways it's good for San Antonio because it'll get that bench some confidence and some experience in difficult situations.
Hey, I like it. The Grizzlies won 2 against the Spurs in the regular. Greg is calling for 2 wins from the Grizzlies over the Spurs here in the postseason. Should be a fun series. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you with us on the other side of this break. Oh, we're talking about the Thunder and the Nuggets, the 4-5 in the West, the series everybody wants to see.